Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates on our latest videos. And if you enjoy our content, please share it with your friends and leave a comment to let us know your thoughts. Your support is greatly appreciated. Let's begin.
The Enchanted Rose Garden. Once upon a time, in a far-off land, there was an enchanted rose garden. The garden was said to have been created by a powerful sorceress who had cast a spell upon it to keep it hidden from the outside world. The garden was surrounded by a thick hedge, which was so high that no one could see over it. The sorceress had also placed a powerful curse upon the garden, so that anyone who tried to enter it would be turned into stone. Despite the curse, many brave knights and adventurers had tried to enter the garden over the years, in search of the legendary rose that was said to grow there. But none had ever returned. One day, a young prince named Alexander decided to set out on a quest to find the Enchanted Rose Garden. He had heard the stories of the garden and the rose, and he was determined to find it. Alexander set out on his journey, accompanied by his faithful steed, Thunder. He rode through the countryside, asking everyone he met if they had any information about the garden. But no one knew anything about it. Finally, after many weeks of searching, Alexander came upon an old hermit who lived in a small cave in the mountains. The hermit told Alexander that the garden was indeed real, and that the rose that grew there was said to have magical powers. He also told Alexander that the only way to enter the garden was to find the key to the hedge, which was guarded by a dragon. Alexander thanked the hermit and set out to find the dragon. After many days of searching, he finally came upon the dragon's lair. The dragon was a fierce creature, but Alexander was brave and fought it with all his might. After a long and fierce battle, Alexander emerged victorious and claimed the key to the hedge. With the key in hand, Alexander rode back to the garden. As he approached the hedge, he could see that it was indeed very high and that there was no way to climb over it. But with the key, he was able to unlock the gate and enter the garden. As Alexander entered the garden, he was amazed by what he saw. The garden was filled with the most beautiful roses he had ever seen. The flowers were all different colors, and they seemed to be alive with a magical energy. Alexander walked around the garden, admiring the flowers and breathing in their sweet fragrance. As he was walking, he saw something shining in the distance. It was a rose, unlike any he had ever seen before. The rose was a deep red color, and it seemed to glow with an inner light. Alexander knew that this must be the enchanted rose. He walked over to the rose and reached out to pick it. But as soon as he touched the rose, he felt a strange sensation. Suddenly, he was no longer standing in the garden. He was in a beautiful palace, filled with light and music. Alexander looked around in wonder. He realized that he was in the palace of the sorceress who had created the garden. He looked around and saw that the sorceress was sitting on a throne at the end of the room. The sorceress smiled at Alexander and said, "Welcome, Prince Alexander. I have been waiting for you. I created this garden as a test of your courage and your heart. And you have passed the test. The enchanted rose is yours." Alexander was overjoyed. He thanked the sorceress and took the rose with him as he left the palace. As he rode back home on his horse Thunder, he knew that he would always treasure the rose and the memory of the enchanted garden.